Okay, so we're starting our venture off on the 1965 Pontiac Le Mans. Now, once again, we're going to convert this to a GTO because the owner wants to make it a GTO for his wife. So what we got to do first before we do anything is we got to strip all the chrome and all the trim off of the vehicle. I think since he's going to put a GTO hood on that, I think the first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and get the hood off.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Not a GTO hood?
No, it's not. That's a Le Mans hood. A GTO hood has like a little scoop in it.
Oh.
So let's go ahead and get the hood off and get it out of the way.
So let's just start in the front and work our way to the back.
That's what I'm thinking. We got rusted hinges, and we're going to need my hood prop if you can grab that. And let's get her done. Come on. Stick it up under there. Come on, it's rolling. The car's rolling.
Why are you pushing the car backwards?
Can I have it, please? Don't even... All right, so we got some rotted, rusted bolts. We're going to have to get some penetrating oil over here so we don't break the nuts and the bolts off. Can you go ahead and get that unfreezable bolt stuff, please? So when you come across situations like this, you really want to be particular about how you get those bolts out, and the best thing to do, squirt it down with a little bit of Master Blaster or penetrating oil or something so you don't break that stud off that's in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Actually, bring it down. God, do you feel how heavy this thing is?
I'm not out of the hinge yet.
Yes, you are.
Oh, now I am. What? Hang on. Oh my God, this thing is freaking heavy.
Okay, let it down, let it down.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, I don't know if we got to take the hinges off. I think he said he had a new set of hinges. We'll go ahead and remove those as well. Now the owner himself said that once we get it stripped down, he is going to come over and get the frame. He's going to restore the frame himself. So once again, the main thing we're doing to this is the paint and body only on it. You always got to have plastic totes. And here's a good tech tip for everybody out there. To buy them plastic totes, the best place to get them is at your local garage sales or estate sales. I pretty much stock up on plastic totes because they come in really handy. All right, now that we got the hood off, it makes it a lot clearer and visual aspect of what we got to take off on the front end. We're going to start with our headlight buckets. We'll get our grill shells out. Then we'll get this bumper off. Give me that penetrating oil. I'm going to go ahead and spray the bumper bolts now because I know those are going to be a nightmare. Get up under here and do that. Let me answer it.
Yeah, because that's probably it. The 917 number.
Hello?
Hey, Mr. Hughes, this is Heather.
Yes.
I had elevated your phone call that we had to the area director. He'll be giving you a call back shortly.
Okay, what's the big deal? Bart didn't talk to you?
Well, no, I talked to Bart. what we usually do is, I didn't feel like you and I were having a great conversation, so
I want to know what kind of compensation I'm going to get on this situation. That's what I want to know.
Okay, he'll
Okay.
talk to you about it, sir.
And when is he going to be calling?
As soon as he's done it with his training.
Okay, and he's the area supervisor manager.
Yes,
He's your boss.
correct.
Okay, I'll see if he calls back. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
So let me tell you the situation here. Me and Minnie were in a restaurant called Applebee's. And when we walked in, we specifically told them we wanted to sit in a booth. The manager on duty said that they didn't have a booth available, yet there was an empty one right there in front of our eyeballs. He brings us to the very back corner, over to where the dumbbell door is for all the waiters and waitresses. And then he says, here's your seat. And I said, hold on a minute, I want to sit in that booth. If you want a booth, you'll have to wait 20 to 30 minutes. And I said, what are you talking about? He says, that girl over there's got 8 customers, this one over here's only got 1. Okay, first of all, that's not my problem that you would have 12 employees on duty, okay, 12 waitresses that aren't making money. That's not my deal. I want a booth. So he says, well, if you want a booth, you'll have to wait 20 or 30 minutes. By that time, Minnie was furiously pissed off, or should I say, okay, he finally agreed to give us the booth. And then by that time, Minnie was so pissed off, she said, forget it, I don't want to eat here. So I don't know what kind of angle this guy was playing or what his situation was, but as far as I'm concerned, my business in his restaurant is them making money, not telling me where I have to sit, when I have to sit down, and who's going to serve me. I will never see that waitress again in my life. I will never know who it was that served me again. And, you know, if she wants to blame somebody for not making money, blame the manager that puts you on duty with too many waitresses. Am I right or wrong?
Don't get me involved.
Huh?
I'm not talking about that, Pete.
Okay, Minnie says forget about it. Let's get back to work. Of course, these are the wrong screws for this, but that's pretty much for the normal on these old cars that you're going to run into. Misplaced screws. Misplaced strip screws. There we go. Okay. Now, the owner said not to worry about parts and everything. He said just throw them in a bucket.
Tagging, just throw them in
He
a
said throw them in a bucket and be done with it.
All right, here, undo this one because it's going to strip out if
What?
you don't use that.
What are you talking about? We need to get this up.
This.
Okay, don't strip it out, please.
I'm going to try not to.
Alright, the next thing we're going to do while Minnie's doing that is... Okay, I thought you wanted to do it.
I asked you to do it, but
Okay.
you were ignoring me.
No, I wasn't. You said give me the screw
video.
gun.
Check the video. supposed to be working as a team here.
Give me my impact with a 1/2 inch socket, please. We're gonna have to get the header panel off so we can get into, okay, hold on, this is the header. All right, this is the header panel. We're gonna have to get the upper tie bar header panel off. We gotta take this off so we can get down here to get the grill openings off. And of course, we gotta take the emblem
Give me
off.
the air and I'll do it.
Okay.
See, I'm helping you.
So if Minnie can get that off, then we got 2 bolts on the bottom. There we go. Go ahead and take it all the way out. Okay, you need to get that needs to be a 6-point socket. Can I see that for a second? No! All you're taking is this off, baby.
Alright, let me do this one.
You got one more right there. You need to get a 13 millimeter. Can I see that socket, please? All right, what happened there, as you saw Minnie stripping out the bolt, is that this is a 13-point socket. No, I'm sorry, a 12-point. This is a 12-point socket. And when you use these sockets on these old rusty bolts, it tends to take that 6-point nut or bolt and strip it out. So the best thing to do, that's still a 12-point.
You said a 13.
Okay, the short socket. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to show you the difference on these sockets. All right, if you see the small one there, the short socket, that is a 6-point, that's a 12-point. When you're restoring these old cars and you really want to do it right where you don't strip any of the bolts out, the best socket to use is the 6-point. Okay, we got a stripped out bolt here. Do you believe this? Give me my pry bar. That means that one of the inserts on here is stripped and will not let the piece come off. And that's pretty much par for course when you're working on one of these old fucking cars. You can hold that. We're going to go back to the 12-pointer for this, just because it's a longer socket. And if I can have my pry bar, I just want to very rarely just pry that out just a little bit, just to get my socket in there. That's not going to work, because we are getting screwed here by one bolt. Can you reach it back there?
Yeah.
Get a pair of vice grips, or is it a nut?
It's like, you know, not checking to see if the door's unlocked.
Okay, is it a nut, or is it a nut, or is it one of them square?
It's a nut, a regular nut.
Okay, so it must have broken off in the past, and somebody actually replaced that with a nut. It's a 1/2 inch. Okay, so there's that. You want to grab the other side of the grill, lift it up over the bumper. Over the bumper. Okay, hold on. Got something holding it here. Just hang on a minute. Okay, let's put it back in there. It's the latch. Hold it. Now, slide it out. Okay, now just lift it up, and then we'll go ahead and move this over there for right now. Alright. So the proper and easy way to remove that grill shell would have been actually to remove the bumper first. Once again, my friend Pete's in a hurry, and he is getting anxious to get this job done. So we will go ahead and proceed to remove the bumper. Bust my knuckles like I did on the last one. I'll try to get everything from the top here. See if we can get it out. There's that one.
Well, that was easy and quick.
That's because the bolt was only 6 threads on there. Alright, so then do the same thing over here. There's one bolt holding this on. Basically the same situation. If I can get in here. On there. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and save that specialty washer for him and the bolt. That's a special bumper bolt washer. Do you see how it's called a lock washer? What happens is when it turns, this thing catches. You see what I'm saying? That catches a certain part in that frame, so it'll hold that bolt while you tighten the nut on.
Right.
Pretty ingenious
There you go.
invention. And it feels like there's still a bolt on there. And I don't see where it could be.
I see a wire.
Wire? That ain't nothing. That's a horn wire.
Oh.
Okay, I see a bolt. Alright, there is a bolt right here. Hang on one second. Get that out of there. Alright, now it should fall off. With a little persuasion. Here it comes. Not yet. Jesus. Okay, now we got screwed up here, see? What happened is, instead of pulling it out, we went down, and there's not enough room for the bumper to go down far enough.
Kicking your butt, Pete.
So we'll go ahead and lift that bumper like this,
He's kicking your butt.
and try to get it out. If you can give me a rubber mallet or something. See if
Well,
we can,
I would help you, but I'm filming.
just give me a rubber mallet. Okay, so if you can just hold it like right there.
There it went.
Alright, so we have now removed the bumper off the vehicle. Are we going to remove the headlights? Possibly, but not yet. The next thing we need to do is go ahead and remove that trim.
Emblems.
And we got to get this emblem off and that
then-
wheel well trim. So if you want to work on that wheel well trim, I'll go ahead and work on the emblem.
Damn it.
Alright, so what we found out so far is stripping one of these old classic cars is not really that big of a chore, but it can take a while due to all of the rust, deterioration, and just the use and abuse of being an old classic car. Right now what I'm doing, I'm taking the emblems off the front fenders. Let me go ahead and show you what we got here. This is a factory emblem off this car. It's a 320, what is that, 326. That would be a small block Pontiac engine, very popular and very used throughout the many years that GTO was produced. And on the back here, what we got, if we look real close, that's called a speed nut. Now on your Fords, what they have, what are those little called? Those are called they got barrel clips. And inside the hole, you would take this little barrel clip, you push it in there, and instead of putting a speed nut on it, you would just push the emblem onto the fender, and those barrel clips would hold that on there. But on GM products, now there is some GM products that use a barrel clip, or you can actually convert your system or your emblem over to a barrel clip instead of using a speed nut. But generally on a GM, what they're going to do is they're going to use the barrel clip that you see right here. And to remove those, the tool that I use is called a nut driver, if I can get it in there. Now, a good nut driver is always going to have a hole inside it right here, so when you're using an extended type stud, you would call it, there's going to be room for the stud to fit inside. Another thing you want to be careful with when removing these emblems is that you don't want to break these little studs off, especially when you're dealing with a factory OEM original emblem. These are worth a lot of money. The aftermarket ones don't fit properly, they don't look worth a shit, and you can actually have this re-chromed and then repaint it. So if we look right there, you can see this is where that emblem was, right there on the front of that right-hand fender, right on the front of it. And then over here, here's the other emblem, and you can see that this emblem's been removed before, and I'm telling you that because we're looking at old bodywork. So this fender here was wrecked at one time. We're going to talk to the owner. Being the GTO Pontiac King that he is, he might possibly have another fender that we might be able to restore other than this one right here. So to remove that emblem, you're going to reach around inside the fender, and you can see there's the two barrel, I'm sorry, not barrel clips, there's the two speed nuts that we're going to remove, and then it also has a set pin hole where you would line the emblem up and it would fit on there perfectly. So we'll reach inside right here, here's a speed nut right there, and we will go ahead and slowly and easily remove that speed nut off of the emblem as we are turning it. And then as you can see, there's our speed nut that we've removed. And then we'll go ahead and reach around inside here looking for the other speed nut, which is way up in the front here. Now, if you have your inner fender wells on the vehicle at the time, you can see that these inner fender wells are missing, but if the inner fender wells are on the vehicle, it's going to be a little bit harder to get these off. And then, of course, once you get the last speed nut off, you want to be able to hold on to your emblem or have somebody hold it for you. Once it's removed, we'll go ahead and pull the emblem off, just like so. Get it out of here. This fender had some body work on it, so the hole where the emblem is giving us a problem because they probably had to re-drill that hole out. So what we'll do is we'll take a small prier tool and ease it out of the hole that it's in. And it looks like we might have to unscrew this off of here. For some reason, this is being a pain in the ass, and I don't know why. There it is, right there. So you want to be careful with that, especially if there's been body work done around it. You know that the hole has been re-drilled and taken off. And then what we'll do is we'll take our speed nut and we will put it back on there easily, not screwing it on all the way, just enough to hold on there. Let me get the other one. And then this way you'll have the original speed nuts that go with the original emblem. Now, I was telling you about hard places to reach and hard stuff to get off of the fenders, such as emblems, and this would be a good example right here. These are individual placed little imitation vents. There we are right there. Imitation vents that are installed on the front fenders, and to remove those, if you take a good look real close, you can see all of the speed nuts that are holding those emblems on. Those have to be removed to remove those imitation vents. And to do that, it would require to take the fender off of the vehicle to do so. So we're going to go ahead and repeat our process on all the emblems that surround the vehicle, such as the Le Mans emblem here. There's possibly 2 speed nuts on each emblem that you're looking at, each letter. And then the next thing that we will do is go ahead and remove the convertible top, the complete system, off of the vehicle. All right, while Minnie's back there taking off, what are you doing over there? Taking the rubber out? Okay, go ahead and get all that done while I'm doing this. All right, she's actually removing all the rotted rubber. And speaking of rubber, we got this piece of chrome right here that has to be removed off of the vehicle. Let me show you how this chrome comes off, and it's pretty much standard to the industry. When you have that door seal, it rides all the way up. Now this would be on a hard top and then goes all the way down and around. It would come off the same way. So on this particular job, we're going to use 2 tools, and what they are screwdrivers. We got a flat screwdriver, we got a Phillips screwdriver. The flat screwdriver is going to be used to remove all this old nasty rubber out, just like this. Now, a lot of times people get confused about this drip rail chrome, and on most cars, what it would do, it would wrap around the drip rail, and that's another day and another story how to get that off. But what you want to do on this, and this also applies, like I said, to hard tops where they have the chrome that goes all the way around. Once you remove that rubber, you're going to find several Phillips screws. Here's one right here. Let's go ahead and remove that. And these are coming out pretty easy. A lot of times they don't come out, and if they don't come out and you strip the screw, the only way to get them out is with this tool right here. And what you would do, you would take your cutting wheel and you'd grind that head down until there was nothing left, and then it would come out, and then you'd re-drill that hole out for a screw. But this one seems to be working pretty good, and it's coming off just fine. So on this particular molding and, what can we say, rubber holder, there's actually three screws holding that in, and it looks like it comes off fine. And you don't want to lose your screws, just like okay, there it is, right? No, that's not it. Okay, we will find that screw. Keep all the screws that you take off. These are hard to find, and they are specialty screws. You can see it's got a big flat head on it. So I'll have to get down in here and dig to find that other screw to take it off, and we will find it. Son of a bitch. And then what I do, since it's a two-piece chrome system going on, just not to confuse everybody, and you keep the left with the left and the right with the right, what we'll do is we'll take some yellow tape and we will go around it just like this to hold it together, so we'll know when we put it back on the car, these two pieces actually fit and go properly together where they came off. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and proceed to remove this top. Now, the first thing that we're going to go ahead and remove off this top is we are going to go ahead and take the chrome off. Now, I've already taken one piece off over there, and I went to take this one off, and the frame of the top is jamming it up. The reason I wanted to show you this is because I want to show you these special clips that are on this chrome holding it down. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up just a little bit, kind of get it out of the way there so we can, there we go, I'll just leave that like that. And then what I'll do is I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to put it underneath here, and I am going to, now there is a screw on this one. This one does. Don't tell me you saw that screw underneath all that.
Yes, I did, Pete, and I told you there was a screw there, and you told me that I was crazy.
Well, the other one I took off didn't have a screw.
Well, it was probably broken.
Was it? Yeah, so there you go. You see, you got to watch what you're doing and pay attention.
Listen to your wife when she tells you something.
So we're going to reach in here. If Minnie can come over here with that camera, I'm going to grab that Phillips screw, give it a good push as I turn, and then this screw should come out of here, just like that.
Non-existent screw.
And you can see that this isn't really any specialty screw, but we will be keeping it. Once again, I want to go ahead and say that you want to keep all your screws and hardware. Don't throw anything away. So once we remove the screws, and there was also a screw up here, we're going to go ahead and remove that chrome. And this one didn't have any clips like the other one. Okay, so the other one might have been removed before, or you know what? This one might have been removed before. There weren't no clips on this. That's very unusual. Let me get the other piece of chrome and show them the clips that I'm talking about. Alright, here's one of the clips right here that we're talking about. And the reason I'm showing you this clip, it's nothing unusually special, but in a way it is special, because that clip right there was specifically designed to fit in this chrome right here. And it went on like this, as you can see. So when you put your chrome on, it would grab that lip right there. Okay, and you would slide it in here like this, and then of course push down on it, and then that clip with those teeth that you see on that clip right there, all right, would grab onto that and hold it on tightly. Now we just took this one off, and you saw it didn't have any clips at all, so the owner's going to have a very hard time finding them clips. So the reason I am showing you all this chrome stuff is because chrome is very tricky. Now we're going to go ahead, and I'm thinking that this chrome possibly has clips only holding it on. And the way that we're going to do that, I'm going to take this screwdriver right here, and you know what? This might be screwed from underneath. Let me see. Okay, so as I look up in here, I don't see anything. I believe that this chrome is holding the material down, and that the material is wrapped up under it, and then of course it has the clips that we were talking about down on it. So what we'll do, to be very careful and safe, we're going to take a flat screwdriver. We will gently tap it out. And you can see as I'm tapping it, it's starting to come out of the car. And you really want to be careful doing this because you don't want to dent the chrome. Just like that. And if we look really close, look what I just found, Minnie. You can see where the material was wrapped over it. And what do we got in that chrome right there? That's those pinch weld clamps that I was showing you. Matter of fact, here's a couple of them that stuck on the car. Let's go ahead and get those off. You can see how tight these things are. I'm sure they're very, very hard. Nearly impossible to find these. So, on something like that, you really, really want to make sure that you keep those. So we'll remove all of the pinch weld clamps or clips out of the chrome, and then we'll put them with the hardware, mounting hardware, to give to the owner. I would presume that to find this piece right here and to actually purchase it, if you didn't have it, would probably cost you a couple $100 on eBay. Now, another tricky piece of chrome to take out of the vehicle, if Minnie can come around here, we can see that this right here is called a window scraper. That means that there's a piece of rubber here, and when you roll your window up and down, it scrapes the window, and yeah, it's called a window scraper, and it also keeps all the debris and water out. On these old classic cars, sometimes these can be very, very tricky to get out. Now, I've seen them come off like we did our back piece of chrome over here, where it had clips holding on. I've also seen it where it has screws holding it. And when you run into the problem where it has screws, sometimes those can be tricky to get those off. Like, let's say on a Chevelle. Chevelles are screwed on, but these panels come off. So when you can take these panels off, then you can get to those screws easy. But when the panels are on in the Chevelle, they're hard to get to. Now, I've taken these off before, and I know that there's some screws in here. The problem is finding the screws and hopefully being able to get to them to take them out. So as I look inside,
I can see one.
I see that there's 2 screws missing on this. There's also actually supposed to be 4. That's telling me that somebody replaced this at one time. So we're going to reach in here and try to get these screws off. And here's one right here. Just like that.
And they only put 2 screws back in there because that's all they could get to.
Because that was probably the hardest. That's all they could get to, especially when your glass is in here. When the glass is in, it makes it even harder because when your glass is inside here, the glass only closes to here. It doesn't go way down inside there. And when you got the glass in here, there's no way you can get to that, those screws. And on the edges you can get to them, but in the center you can't. And I've seen that done before from people that have replaced them. And I know this has been replaced because look at the screw they used. It's a chrome plated screw, and from the factory they used these kind of screws here, which aren't chrome. If Minnie can get the camera right here, you can see that the glass is in this car. Do you see how where the glass is? It stops flush right there. So what that does, that makes it very hard to get these 2 metal screws out. Because right here where this glass is, all right, and I don't even know if I can lift that up, but I'm sure there's more than 2 screws holding this piece of rubber in. And to get to these screws right here is going to be a real nightmare. But it comes off exactly like this one here. There's no difference. It's the same thing. And yeah. All right, window scraper trim can be a bitch. So what we're doing now is we're going to go ahead and remove this door panel. Now this is a General Motors product, and on a General Motors product you're going to need a tool just like this. This is a door handle removal tool. If you look right here in this area, you're going to see these two pointed little extrusions and then like a little round hole, and what that does, there's a round clip inside these door handles, and what that does, that'll pop that clip out. Now the clip only goes two ways. It'll either go this way or that way. It won't go sideways. The problem you have is trying to figure out which way it goes and getting this tool to actually slide in there to pop it off. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and remove our armrest, which requires 2 Phillips screws, and I believe I'll go ahead and do that first. The screws on this are actually pretty big. They're not your average size screw, and sometimes require a number 3 Phillips screwdriver rather than a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. So, but this one here looks like a number 2 will work, so we're going to go ahead and go with that. Now a number 2 screwdriver is your basic standard issue screwdriver, and then the number 3 Phillips screwdriver would be your next size up. And a lot of these door panel armrests have the number 3 screws in them, because that is what most people, 99.9% of the time, they pull that to shut the door when the windows are up. So the armrest actually acts as 2 purposes: a door pull and an armrest. And the reason that is because, like I said, people use that to pull the door, so they have big screws to make sure that it doesn't strip out. Alright, now that that's off, what we'll do is we'll take our tool. Now on Ford products, you wouldn't need to use this. This is General Motors only. On a Ford, you're going to have either an Allen wrench type screw or a Phillips screw in the center of those holding those on. I actually like those better due to the fact that they're easier to remove and install, and sometimes putting the GM handles back onto the vehicle, or what you're going to notice taking them off, can be a little bit of a chore. So we're going to start with our window right here. We're going to roll it up to get it to where we need it, and can many of the body shop girls see that?
Yep.
I'm going to slide that in there, and then I'm just going to push, and look what happened. We got lucky. Alright, if you look right there, there's the clip that my friend Pete's telling you about. And one more thing that you got to be cautious of when removing this, and I'm going to show you when I take this off here, is there's actually a plastic washer behind this. And let's see if I got it. I don't think I got it that time. Okay, this one here is going to give us a little bit of a problem. Okay, hold on, there it is right there. I did get it off. Alright, so there's the clip on that one. You can see that's a factory original clip. That's not an aftermarket. Aftermarket would be a copper color, not silver. So we'll throw that in there. And this is something that you have to beware of, is this protector from the door panel not ruining your, the door handle not ruining your door panel. This is a protector, so when that door handle's turning, it hits that rubber, it hits that plastic instead of the door panel itself. And when this thing is on the car right here, it's like totally flat like that. Alright, and most of the time when you try to take these off, you usually end up going behind it, and you can't figure it out. And see what happens is when you go behind it, see how it pushes that plastic? Alright, so you think you're on it, but you're not. So always remember to put that in between the two to remove that door handle. On the door panels themselves, you should be able to find some screws at the bottom, and you'll want to remove those. So once you get that done, you want to go ahead and pop it off, and you can see that the door panel just basically fell off the car, and we won't be using them. And there is another screw down here, which makes 4 in this panel. But I want to go ahead and show you one of these clips and warn you that when you're taking off these cardboard, you can see that the original door panels were made out of cardboard, and we'll be keeping this because it has the Le Mans emblem on them. The owner might want to keep that, so we won't throw that away. And it's also got the chrome trim on the bottom. But I want to show you these clips you really need to, when you remove these door panels and you want to keep them, it's very, very important to use a tool like this one right here, okay? And the reason is this tool right here is basically like this tool, if you can see that. It's just a miniaturized tool, and it helps grab them clips to get them out of there, just like this, and then you'd remove the clip. You want to go ahead and keep those clips. Do not lose those clips. These door panel clips, if you buy brand new door panels, they do not come with them, and the aftermarket ones suck. Am I right, Minnie?
Absolutely.
All right. So anytime that you can keep your door panel clips, keep them. Do not get rid of them. Do not throw them away. Don't think you're going to go buy, oh, I'm going to go buy brand new ones. I don't need the old ones. Always keep everything that you take off of your vehicle. Now that we have our door panel removed, there's a few items on here that we're going to want to keep. And one of them is this spring right here. This is a retention spring for our window crank, so the window crank won't be moving in and out because you got a lot of force on that rolling your window up and down. Whereas on our pull handle, it doesn't have a spring, but take a good look at this. It has a big black flat washer, and that's made of foam rubber, okay? So always remember, the spring goes on your what, Minnie?
Window crank.
Your window crank, and the foam rubber goes on here. You don't put any crank, you don't use anything on this. You don't know springs. This is just for the window crank only. Any stainless steel chrome that you have on your vehicle, you do not want to lose. And if you are in the process of restoring your car, all the chrome must be removed. Did you just hear what I said?
Yep.
Every piece of chrome. So we'll go ahead and remove that off of there, and then we'll put it in the bucket with this chrome. If you go to remove your outer window scraper on an old classic car, and it's a chrome window scraper like you saw me remove over there, all right, and it's on the front door, and it goes past the wing window to the end, the wing window has to be removed out of the car. But then on the other hand, if you're going to restore your car properly, you got to remove the wing window anyway. Am I right or wrong, Minnie?
Yep.
Okay, because I believe that the owner of this car, he'll probably, more than likely, completely dismantle these
If you're restoring
and
the
have
car,
them chrome plated.
yeah, if you're restoring the car, you're not going to leave that wing window,
You're not gonna leave that there.
hot metal looking like that.
No. So, we will be removing the old rubber. We're not doing that yet, but what we are going to remove is this Phillips screw, which was hidden that we didn't see. And believe it or not, Minnie, the body shop girl, reminded me that that screw was there. So we're going to go ahead and remove that using our little stubby Phillips screwdriver, as you can see, just like that. And we're going to be pushing very hard on that screw because we don't want to strip that little screw out, because if you strip that screw out on this, you can ruin this. This is actually made out of pot metal. We don't want to ruin that piece of pot metal, and we definitely don't want to break that tip off of that where that screw goes in. Okay, to remove this particular wing window out of the vehicle, it's going to take a 7/16 wrench. We got a hidden bolt over here. So we'll go ahead and use our wrench to get that out. There we go. And I like using these ratchet wrenches when I do this. And let me get this out and I'm going to show you why. And these aren't snap-on, these are Craftsman. And I like them because they fit in very tight areas and they are very, very sturdy tool. And let me pull over here and show you that. These little ratchet wrenches right here, very, very handy. If you don't have a set of these, go buy some. I suggest that you get the Craftsman brand. We've already broke, what, 2 of these things and took them straight back. Got free ones, no questions asked. But these are very handy, and the reason I like them is because they got an angle on them. They're not straight. So then we got another nut down here, and that's another 7/16. We'll go ahead and bust that one loose. And I'm thinking that that Phillips screw right there is probably to the wing window itself as well. So we're going to go ahead and get that screw off of there. There it is right there. And then hopefully, just hopefully, we might be able to pull this wing window out with these. Okay, so I'm moving it around and it feels like we still got something holding this in. So I'm going to run my hand up inside here and it feels like there is another screw somewhere that we're missing. And yes, there is, right down here. All right, so I'll take my 7/16 wrench and you can see how it fits in nice tight areas. Look at that. Can you see that? All right, and you can grab it, and it's a very nice wrench set to have for doing this stuff. I actually have a set of snap-on ratchet wrenches, and I don't like to use them. I much prefer these. The reason why is because the snap-on wrenches are flat. I actually quit buying snap-on tools after almost 40 years of excellent service with Snap-on. My business with them is over. I think I have almost every tool I need to do the job I need to do, and if I need any more tools, we go to Harbor Freight or Northern Tool.
There you go.
How does that sound to you?
Yeah.
That sound like a good idea? So then the next thing is just basically working it out and getting it out of the hole that it's in. I see that it's loose, but what's stopping us is this bolt down here. Okay, now will that come off of there? Sometimes these actually unscrew and come off. And yes, it does. If I can have my flat screwdriver, you can see that this here will, well, put it this way, it's supposed to. You're supposed to be able to screw that in.
But you're tightening it.
Well, I got to get it screwed in so I can lift it out.
Okay.
If I screw it out, it's not going to come out.
That's
It's not going to clear the hole. Here it comes, I think. Taking a wing window out of the car can be a tricky job. This is going to take me a few minutes to actually take out, but if Minnie can hand me the camera, please. I'd like to show everybody, there's that screw I was telling you about, and to remove that piece right here, this outer window scraper, you have to remove the wing window. There's no way out of it. Alright, to finish up on the doors of our classic car, what we're going to do is we're going to roll that window up all the way, alright? And then we're going to go ahead and remove our door handle and our lock. So if we look right here, you're going to see a hole that's really close to the door jamb itself. And what that's going to do, that's your access hole to get inside there to take that lock and the door handle off. And on General Motors, they're pretty simple. Ford's a lot harder because Ford actually has a clip that holds the rod in, whereas on the General Motors, the rod slides in between two fingers like that, and then it can move it up and down. So we're going to go ahead and take our flashlight, and if Minnie can can you see that in there, Minnie? Right here where my finger is.
Yeah.
That's the lock. Alright, do you see the retainer clip on it right there? What we're going to do is we're going to take a pair of pliers, and then we're going to reach in there just like this. Now another thing you can use besides a pair of pliers is a pry bar like this. The thing about using the pliers, you're going to get your hands in there if you don't have gloves on it. You got a lot of sharp metal and a lot of action going on with that. So what I do is I usually take my pliers and then I just kind of wiggle it back and forth and pull on it at the same time, watching my hands so I don't get cut. And as you see, this retainer clip is on here pretty tight. So what we'll do is we'll take our pry bar, we're going to stick it in here. I'm going to grab the edge of that clip, and then I'm going to pry it out just like this. And I can also tell that this has never been out of the car, so that's actually a good sign. There we go right there. Let me get that retainer clip out, and then I'll show you what we're talking about. And if you look right there, that is the factory OEM retainer clip. You want to keep those. The aftermarket ones will not work. So once the clip's out, you should be able to reach around, grab your lock cylinder, and jiggle it around, and it should pull out of that hole if Minnie's watching what's going on. And then there is the General Motors lock assembly right there. And as you see, it's got the two fingers where the rod would go in there where it would move it up and down. Whereas on a Ford, it's got a rod with a 90-degree bend on it, and then it goes into the lock, and then you flip a little clip on it. And then to remove the door handle, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your light, and I don't know if Minnie's going to be able to see this or not, but there's two small bolts on there, and we got to remove them bolts, and then once we remove the bolts, the door handle will fall out. And if you look right up inside there, there is our door handle right there. And you can see that General Motors actually has a push button. There's no rods involved at all on the latch assist assembly. And you can see the two bolts that need to come out to get the door handle out. Now, what I do is I have a little 1/4-inch socket set. And then, of course, I have some very little ratchets, all right, that you can see here. And then what I'm going to do is I'll take the socket that fits on there and just randomly try them on there, and then I just happen to find the right one on the first time, and then that way I can fit my hand up inside the door and take off the mounting bolts that hold our door handle onto the vehicle. Now I will tell you, we're not going to talk about Chryslers because the most popular cars are the Chevys and the Fords, and I will tell you from experience, Chevys are way easier to work on, they're way easier to strip, and they're way easier to put back together. So Fords are a little bit tricky, especially the Mustang dashes. Am I right, Minnie?
Yeah.
The dashboards on a Mustang Fastback, let's say 69 for instance, is very, very difficult. So you're going to reach around once again on this side, pull out the door handle, and then you can see right here, here's our push button that will push against the latch assembly and open your door. We'll take the bolts, we'll put them back in the door handle. I don't know what the owner's going to do with these. If it was me and I was going to restore this car, I would actually take these and have them re-chromed. This is not stainless steel, this is pot metal or cast metal, and you can have these re-chromed, and that's what I would do with them because they look like they're in very, very good shape, and they are once again. What?
Original.
There you go. All right, now that we're done with the doors on our car, you can see that we basically stripped them down. We're getting ready to restore this car. We've stripped the doors down. We took the wing windows out. We've taken all the chrome off. We got all of this chrome off all the way around the convertible top. And I told you I was going to take that convertible top off, but I'm going to go ahead and wait till last because we got some other parts that we need to take off with it, which we want to make sure that everything it gets taken off properly. That's that electric motor right there. Looks like a hydraulic motor, runs off some kind of liquid or possibly a vacuum. But anyway, we're going to get that out last. And the only thing that we really got left on this vehicle to take out is the fender extensions, which are these right here. And then we're going to have to paint those. But to get those out, all right, to get those out, you got to take the bumper off first. So we got to get that rear bumper off, and sometimes these can be a real bear if they have been on the car for a very long time. Now, most commonly on these old classic American cars, it's going to be a 3/4-inch nut and a bolt that hold those on. And a lot of times, being these big frame cars like they are the full frame cars, it's kind of tricky to get up in there to hold that nut while you're taking the bolt off. So let's get up under the car, let's see what kind of action's going on and see if we can get this thing off nice and easy. So if we come into the bumper, we're going to look up right in this area here, and you can see that this is the bumper bracket. Now, you don't get confused with this bolt here, because if you take that bolt off, it's not going to do anything. That bolt is actually bolted, bolts the bracket to the bumper, and there's another one up inside there that you will not be able to get to. The only way to remove these old bumpers is to take the bracket off of the frame itself. So what I'm going to use to attempt to take these off is I got me a 1/2-inch impact drive 3/4-inch socket right here with an adapter on my air ratchet. One other thing you want to be very, very careful with is if you don't have gloves on like I don't have, be very careful that you don't cut your hands or pinch your fingers or your thumbs when you're taking all these off. I'm going to go ahead and put this socket on here go ahead and do that there to make sure it's on reverse. And I'm gonna see if I can loosen this nut up before, and I can see that by pushing on it that it's not gonna loosen up easy. There it goes. Okay, so we got it loose. And on these old cars, if you can pay attention, or you can see they're really, really rusted, it'd be wise to put some penetrating oil on the back side of it here where the nut is the day before or the night before you decide to take these off. This car is from Nevada, so it does have surface rust, but it seems like all the nuts and bolts are in pretty good action here. We're going to go ahead and take a 3/4 inch wrench using the open end wrench, and then we're going to slide it up inside here to grab that nut, and you should be able to feel it. You should be able to feel it without looking at it. And then once you get a hold of it, I can't tell if I got it, we're going to have to look at it. So I'm going to bring my head around here, just like this. There we go, right there. And I can now see it. Let me see if I can get my... Okay, I can't. There it is right there. I went ahead and was able to use the box end of the wrench. So on this one here, where's my air hose? There it is right there. Okay. So we'll take the air hose like this, and then we'll go ahead and hook that up just like that. If I can get it. There we go. And then hopefully... one more thing, and I had them on my forehead. Make sure you wear safety glasses when you're under your car at all times. Debris will fly in your eyes and in your face, and also if it gets in your eyes, it can cause very bad damage to your eyesight. So always wear safety glasses. Okay, we've run into a hard spot here, so I'm going to go ahead and hand take it off using my air ratchet, just like you're watching me do. And we'll go ahead. Okay. Hello. Thank you. All right. So we were able to remove that bolt with these, and once again, always make sure that you keep your special lock washers that they come with. You want to make sure that you have those. I see that the nut is stuck in the wrench. There it is right there. And then we'll go ahead and put that right there, just like that. Well, if I can get it on there. At this time, once you get all your nuts off and all your bolts, it would be a good time to take a cup, fill it with vinegar water, and set all these in there to eat all that rust off. Vinegar water is a very good substance for cleaning nuts and bolts when they're surface rusted like this right here. And then there you go, just like that. And of course, this doesn't have a special washer, this just has a flat washer on it. And I'll go ahead and put the nut back on that so I can put it in my vinegar water to clean these nuts and bolts off. And then we'll get the other side and repeat our process. And another thing I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see, the bumper is now loose. I'm going to go ahead and put a floor jack in the center of it to hold it up so it doesn't fall on me. I'm here by myself today. So we'll go ahead and do that for safety precautions, and then we'll also get those bolts off and get the bumper off. Okay, now that we have the bumper off of the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and remove our fender extensions. Now, Minnie, the body shop girl, already removed that one and realized while I was working on something else, she was working on that, and realized that the rear bumper has to be removed, and you can see why. It's got a lip right here that feathers out and it catches underneath the bumper, and it's all the way around. So you can't get this piece off right here unless you take the rear bumper off. There's no way out of it. And you can take this piece off right here. There's some screws inside that hold this on, and then the tail light lens is underneath this chrome piece. But since we're doing a total restoration on this, we're going to remove the whole setup because we want to be able to sandblast all behind here, and soda blast all behind here, and I want to get this inside and out as well. So what I'm going to do is I am taking a long extension as you can see right here, and this is a 7/16, and what holds this on is basically the same thing as our emblems that were over here, and those are called speed nuts. Now, you're going to have to use an extension on this particular car and possibly other GM bodies due to the fact that you're going to have a brace inside your trunk right here. And if you look in this area right here, you can see here's our brace that we're talking about. This is the same brace that you're going to find on your Chevelles and possibly your Novas and your Malibus and such like that. But to get to those bolts, you're going to have to use an extension that will reach in here like so. And actually, you know what? Let me see here. Here they are. Okay, hold on a second. Maybe that's not right there. That was for our brace that went across here. Yeah, okay. I have that backwards. See, what happened is many of the body shop got ahead of my friend Pete and started to remove stuff. And what we were talking about is the tail light panel that goes in between the two tail lights. It's a cast piece here. It's a pot metal cast piece that basically looks just like this right here, and it goes from this end all the way down to the other end. And to remove that, you would have to get through that brace to get this one bolt off. So as far as the tail light goes, all we need to do is basically take our 7/16 socket, reach around in here. Here's one right here. We're going to put that on reverse, and I'm going to show you this bolt when I take it out. You can see all it is another speed nut. All right, it's a 1/4 inch 7/16 head speed nut. You don't want to lose those. You want to keep them. And if you run into one that is being a bear to take off, let me see, here's one right here. Let's see, we got wires in the way. And I'm not even looking at this, I'm just kind of feeling around. And that's usually how you can get to them, just by feeling. We're going to go ahead and add the extension to this one anyway, because I can't. Here it is right here. Okay, so we want to get that, and then we'll take that off like this. So yes, you do have to use an extension on these, and there you go, there's another one. Here's two way up here inside here. There's one right here. I believe there's approximately 5 or 6 of these things on here, and that one's already missing for some reason. So keep going. There's another one right here, basically straight across from it. So if there's one missing on here, that's telling me that at one time this might have been off the car. Okay, and then once you get all those out, it should come off with these just like this. And then of course you're going to want to disconnect your bulb if your bulb is connected up. So now we got the fender extension off, quarter panel extension, whatever you want to call it, and we also got the tail light off, but we don't want the tail light on the quarter panel extension. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove that. Now, as I look at it, I see that there's 3 screws. We got one screw here, we got another screw in here, and then we also have one right there. Will that come off if I remove them 3 screws? No, it won't. It won't come off because let me show you what we got. If you take this gasket and remove the gasket off of the cover, all right, I'm just going to bend it back. Look what I found. I got another screw right here, and then there's another one right there. So it's very important to always check before you start prying parts off. A lot of these parts, if you get all the mounting hardware off, they should just fall off if you haven't noticed that. So always check before you go pulling. So as we walk around it, you can see I've completely removed all the front end parts. I still got to take the plastic grill inserts out of the header panel itself. That's only going to be 8 bolts, and then that's a done deal. But you can see by looking at the side, all the chrome is taken off. All of the window scrapers except this one, because we're going to be replacing this door right here. I showed you how to remove all your hardware and all your chrome out of the door itself. We went ahead and took all the chrome off around the windshield. That's done. We got all this chrome out right here that goes around the convertible top area. And then of course when we came to the back of the car, we went ahead and removed everything on the back of the vehicle, including the bumper. So basically, the only other thing that I have to remove out of this car is the interior seats themselves. We're going to go ahead and remove the convertible top assembly, and then we're going to go ahead and remove all of the dash components, including the gauges, out of the vehicle. So I believe I've covered a lot of tech tips, a lot of helpful hints, a lot of hidden stuff to help you strip your muscle car down, or possibly your classic vintage car. You know, you might not be working on the exact same car that I got, but at least I took you through some steps and procedures to help you guide your way through gutting and stripping your car down and getting it prepped up for media blasting. The last thing we want to go over is called bag and tag, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get some freezer bags just like this that's got a little white thing there. We're going to go ahead and mark that bag with what's inside it. So on this particular bag right here, we're going to put rear bumper, and then once we see the bolts, we're going to know exactly what they are. And then I'll go ahead and I'll take my bolts after I open my bag up, and we'll put our bolts inside here. And remember, I went ahead and put the nuts and the bolts and all the washers together. So we're going to leave those right there like that, and then we're going to Ziploc tie it. We're going to push it down, kind of roll it up just like this, and then finish Ziplocking it shut. So that includes this video or video series, however long we've gotten to, of how to remove everything on your car to get it ready for media blasting. That's the third time I've said that, and I hope that everybody enjoyed this little video set. Remember, all it is common sense, common tools, easy situation, and an attitude that says, I can do it. We'll see you later. My friend Pete, your friend Pete, DIY Auto School. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of this series. And if you have any ideas or suggestions of videos that you possibly might want to see, go ahead and either leave a comment in the comment section, or you can see the information right down there in my description of this video, how to get a hold of me and contact me with your ideas and suggestions of what my friend Pete should do for you.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.